Hey everybody, it's Jim of Animateducated, and today we've got Jennifer and Bert Klein, who are Picnic Productions and are creators of Pups of Liberty series, which can be seen on Is It, which is on YouTube. If you just go to that, you'll see it. Welcome to Animateducated. You guys have been working on these films for a while, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so long I can hardly remember. But yes, in some form or another, probably since about 2006 or 2007.
What made you decide pups instead of cats or hedgehogs or
I mean, here's my impression of it is we had a cat who's no longer with us named Corky. And one day Jennifer did this really funny drawing of our cat Corky dressed up like a pilgrim and then wrote something called Mayflower Cats on it. To me, that's the earliest origin of it. And then it changed to further down in history to Founding Father Dogs. And Founding Father Dogs was the name of the
Mhm.
first film before we turned it into Pups of Liberty. That's how I understand it to be. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's pretty much what happened. And then uh as I was kind of hashing out the dogs and cats things, it just was I think Spaniel Adams was one of the first characters that I thought of, and it just kind of seemed more natural to me to make the colonists the dogs. And the cats looked really cute in the British
The
uniforms.
red
So
coats, you call them the red cats.
yeah, the cats
Yeah.
looked adorable in the uniform, and they just seemed like they would be more comfortable dressed up and in uniform. So it all started out as a book. Actually, it was just a history book, like a little comic book length history book. And we were in New Zealand at the time. Bert was working on Lord of the Rings, and I had a lot of time because he'd be at work all day, and it rains a lot there. So I just kind of worked on it. And when we came back, we said, well, why not just make it a film? Because that's what we do. We're not really book makers. We're just, that's the language we speak. So let's just make it into a short. The reason that we started doing this at all, from the very beginning, was just to be able to do our craft, to do 2D, because when we started it, it was on the downhill. So we wanted a way to continue our craft, to be able to draw, to be able to work with people that we really treasure working with. And I think that we're both just satisfied being able to continue it in any form. So, as far as ambition, I don't have any ambition except just to continue this and to be able to work with this great group of people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
continue making it, and then when all's said and done, it's something because it's being done in hand-drawn animation. It can be enjoyed, hopefully, by future generations.
Yeah, and
But
hopefully kids in school will watch it and remember it and learn something. That's really the goal, is to get it in classrooms or in homeschools, or just a kid that's watching YouTube happens upon it and might learn a little something. That's the big goal with them.
people ask us, yeah, do you have
Yeah.
bigger ambitions? A Netflix show, this, and we honestly are just too busy doing life and making these. We're too busy making them to even think about
Yeah, we got kids,
ambitions.
man.
Yeah, to even think about making them, and because it is very small and cottage and whatever, they're being made and they exist. And for anything
Yeah.
more grander or whatever in the future, we just don't know. But
No,
we're
we're doing it for the art.
we're making it. We're
That you have to be grateful every day for what you can do. And for us, this gives us happiness to be able to do our art and work with these great people like Mark Henn. I never got to work with him personally on a film, but being able to work with him on these films, I've learned so much, even though I wasn't animating under him. Just seeing how he approaches things, how he approaches a scene, does his rough, and his instinct for what's appropriate in
he
acting.
always includes his
Oh,
thumbnails when he
oh my
turns it in,
gosh.
and So we get to see his thumbnails and his thought process. Yeah.
Amazing. And just such an instinct. Like, I've never worked with anyone that has such an accurate instinct for how a scene should be acted.
Yeah.
So, it's those moments that I'm like, wow, this is worth doing this just to have
It's hard
this
work. Yeah,
experience.
it's hard work and a lot to do. But yeah,
Yeah.
and from my standpoint, when I see Jennifer's sensibility, her love for history, and same thing, Mark's sensibility and love for history, and seeing it all come together, and being a really unusual thing that is being made, that's really the satisfaction.
Yeah.
And when people enjoy it, when people can see it and enjoy it.
Yeah, and I like when we in this industry, when we have the chance to do something that's educational, or that might teach something or add to someone's life or life experience or knowledge. I love that kind of thing.
And some great folks along the way that were helping move it along. I have to mention Jason Tucker. I remember Jason Tucker is a fantastic animation editor, and actually spent many years working with George Lucas and Dave Filoni on the Clone Wars series, which of course, its live action form, Mandalorian, is a huge hit. And Jason Tucker, I was working with him. I think I was animation supervisor on a project called Fat Albert at Warner's at the time, which was a live action Fat Albert movie, and worked with him on the Looney Tunes Back in Action movie. I had left Disney for about 7 years and worked on projects like that. And I remember Jason had heard about our project, and he said, hey, I heard you got storyboards. I got a little editing suite. If you want to come over, I can help cut this together. And him and Jennifer cut together the very first Pups of Liberty story reel with some scratch dialogue. And then we saw it together in form, and we said, we just got to start making this.
Yeah.
Also got to give a shout out to Steve Morrell, amazing composer on all the Pups of Liberty shorts. We love his music, and blessed to be working with him.
Yeah.
And Phil Proctor, who does tons of voices. And yeah, so lots of great folks we've been very fortunate to work with.
We're working on the next 5 pups, and we're doing homeschool, and Bert's at Disney.
Yeah, and we're still working at Disney.
Okay.
I worked on, just came out on Disney Plus, called the Zootopia Plus. So that was a lot of fun to work on. I was one of the animation supervisors on that. So that's the latest thing I worked on that's just came out.
Okay. Did you guys meet at Disney, or
We met in school.
Oh, okay.
We went to separate high schools, but we met at an animation class.
Oh, wow.
It was an after school class.
At a third high school. There was a thing in it's called ROP, Regional Occupational Program. There was this amazing teacher. We had Dave Master, and at that high school there were ROP classes for auto shop, restaurant working, all kind of welding, I think, and animation. There was actually one for animation.
It was supposed to be for practical skills, like things that could get you into the workforce. And Dave Master had this program for years before we joined, and he developed it, and then it coincided with like the big hiring in the 90s, like that was the peak, and he was able to get professionals come out and do lectures for us, and view our work, and give us portfolio reviews and feedback, so that the class really achieved a high level of like we knew more what was.
It was an amazing class.
Yeah, it was just
it was great.
It was an amazing class. We made films, and
we were there at the right time, and the class no longer exists. It hasn't for quite a while. I think around the mid 90s, when Warner Brothers started their feature animation division, Dave Master was actually recruited by Warner's to go work there, to be their recruiter, artist development manager, to bring in new new talent, and he left the school, and it lasted for a few years without him, but it did
Mhm.
not continue
But
on.
he was the heart of the program.
He was great.
He went on to Warner's, but that's basically where we met, making
Oh,
film.
okay.
We both animated on New Groove together
Yeah, that's
with
the
Dale.
only
Yeah.
film we've been on together professionally. And that's where I met Dale.
Mhm.
And Mark, I believe it was the same film, but he wasn't on it.
Mark helped out on New Groove.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, but I
Okay.
worked on Mulan with Mark. But how Mark came about working on it is Mark loves history. I mean, he really is a high level historian and
Yeah.
collector. And we had him over at our place one day and showed him the story reel of Pups of Liberty, Boston T-Bone Party, and one thing led to another. And that was a long time ago. I mean, that came out in 2009, but it was probably 2006 when we started animating that.
Yeah,
So we've been
yeah.
having we've been working with Mark on these for over 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a fantastic history buff, and whenever we need something designed historically accurate, he always knows. He always knows what it should look like.
Yeah, or the proper
You know,
method of
yeah,
doing it. Yeah.
how they would use it, or how they would crank something, or he always knows. Yeah.
How long does it take you to kind of come up with the story and then, you know, get it to the first like animatic or, storyboard and all that stuff?
Our production schedule is 3 months, and we start with script. I always start script writing, and I
should mention your collaborator.
Yep,
We
I
have a
co-write
collaborator
with Greg Henn, who is Mark's son, who is a writer.
Oh, wow. There's
So
other.
yeah, so I've been working with him for years, and so we do a script first, and then we do storyboard and
scratch dialogue,
workbook, layout, rough animation, cleanup, just as you would expect the 2D pipeline, but the whole thing is about 3 months.
So you mentioned it's 2D animation and I guess, are you using Harmony for that or something else?
It's being animated on paper, and for the wraparound fully done 2D segments, those are done inked and painted and scanned and composited in Harmony. And the
Yeah,
middle
but animation and cleanup are on paper.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
The middle sections where we're telling the history, the history flashbacks, mostly using After Effects for those.
So is the series like produced all here, or do you send it overseas, or how does that work?
No, it's a very cottage.
I mean, they're
cottage thing,
Well, to be fair, folks are in other
Yeah.
states that work on it, and
Yeah,
everyone works
yeah.
remote. But yeah, it's all U.S. and we're doing it through with isit.org, who are our production partners on this, and everyone works remotely and can sort of like how we're doing here.
Yeah.
It's great you're using 2D, again, and just keeping it going and putting, giving that nice quality to it, with talented artists and all that.
Yeah.
I noticed that your daughter played a little part in this as well.
Did. She really wants to in her future work in development or character design, something like that. And she's much better at color than I am.
Yeah.
So I tap into her instincts for that quite often, and she makes really good calls. So yeah.
She also helped storyboard the middle section of the Abigail Adams short, and I believe she did some cleanup work on the middle portion of the Ben Franklin short. We have a co-directing partner, Tom Caulfield, who is a Disney feature guy, amongst other places, and he did these really, really terrific storyboards and poses of Benjamin Franklin in the Benjamin Franklin short during the inventions, and our daughter Emily cleaned those up.
Yeah, and Tom Caulfield, he's a tremendous artist too. He started as a traditional animator. He's from Ireland, worked at Disney Australia for a while, and
director on the Tangled show.
Yep,
Yeah.
director on the Tangled show. He's made a lot of short films of his own, so he's really familiar with short format,
Mhm.
and he's just been a great all hands on deck. He's there. He'll do a layout. He'll do boards. So yeah, so we're really grateful to have him.
That's
And our
great.
son Aaron, in the first season, in the next upcoming episode, I think he was a little bit in the Benjamin Franklin one, but we're spending a little bit more time on this new series with the little Jack Russell character who is going to be entirely in the next episode. That's another thing too,
Little boy
character that our
Mhm.
son Aaron did the voice for. I think that's another interesting thing too, is because we have a little boy character too. And what's nice about doing these shorts is some of them can have both Anne and Jack, or just Jack or Anne. So
Mhm.
we're not just quite as limited by having to tell one full long form contained story. We're getting to jump around and have some more variety.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. So it's a big family affair. Everybody's contributing. That's
Yeah,
great.
it kind of is.
Yeah, yeah. So do you have anybody that's kind of overseeing this, or it seems like you guys are the guys that are kind of calling the shots on this one?
Well, our production partners do have, they look at the scripts because they're primarily educators and teachers. So we have our
Yeah.
educational partners who are helping us, and they have fact checkers, history teachers, just to
Mhm.
make sure that everything we're doing is historically accurate. So we do get feedback on these scripts, but it's
Yeah.
almost always about, is it historically accurate? Is it on point? And
Mhm.
so those are so yes, we do have collaboration in that way on these.
Yeah, everything coordinates with a fifth grade United States history, uh, the content that they are looking at in those grades. So we want to make sure everything's accurate when it goes out to the classroom.
And their target group for
So
these shorts is K through 4. And so just sort of like trying to, from a teacher's standpoint, would a kindergartner through a fourth grader get everything that we're doing? But from a creative
yeah,
standpoint, it really is, Jennifer's world and her vision that you see on the screen.
So you're showing these on Is that what it's called? Is it?
it's the main viewing platform is YouTube.
Right.
So everything is going to YouTube. Um,
Their channel is isit.org.
yeah, that's
Is
that's
it?
the YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
But yeah, if you want to watch it, do a search for Pups of Liberty short tales, and it will take you there.
Have you figured out, like, okay, we're going to do this many for this year, or anything? Do you have a schedule like that?
We have the next 5, and the production schedule is it 18 months?
I
Or
think
is
so.
it,
Yeah, about 3 months a piece. Yeah, 50. Yeah, take about
yeah.
3 months a piece. I think it is 18 months total. I think it's 3 months
Mhm.
of production for 5, and the additional 3 months was basically for writing and just getting all the scripts worked out.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what we did for this first 5 that are coming out, and we are well into that for the next 5 that
Mhm.
will be following.
Are you getting students like sending you their reels and saying, "Hey, I'd love to work on this," or
We just got one
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah?
Yeah, but it was from a
It
professional.
was from a
It
professional. It was
wasn't
very,
a,
yeah.
Oh, that was me. That was me.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I was really excited to see, because I think this person may have been in Europe and
I think
Spain,
from
maybe.
Spain. Yeah, it was very nice work.
So it's
So
nice.
if you're listening
Yeah,
and you
it's
sent it, your work was very nice.
it's nice to see that people are seeing it overseas, you know. So yeah, we have a little fan base, I guess.
It is nice.
It's
Yeah.
a modest,
But-
very modest.
But these are very short shorts, and the budgets are very modest, and we have animation at the beginning and the end, full Disney animation, and in the middle part is After Effects. And right now
Mhm.
we're able to handle all of it with who we're working with at the moment, but you never know in the future.
So I did want to find out if you had any advice for animation students out there about like making their own films.
Advice? I mean, just remember how fortunate they are that they have non-linear digital video editing that
Yes.
is easy to use,
Yes.
and you can just get something up and running if you have an idea and a microphone and any kind of paint
Yeah.
any kind of software where you can make an image, or you could draw it and take a picture. You could do a bunch of thumbnails and take pictures with your phone, put them on a timeline in Premiere
Yeah.
and record some scratch, and you could have an idea and see if it's working. There's no sending out to film or video or the conventional
Yeah.
slugging. So I think that consumers' ability to use professional grade editing work these days is a huge thing that to be grateful of and take advantage of.
Yeah, and I think it's really easy to talk yourself out of starting something or making progress on something because maybe you don't think what you're going to do is good enough. The first pups and most of the other pups actually were just storyboarded on post-it notes. Um,
Yeah, they're right over there in that binder. That
yeah, I don't do anything fancy. I don't even print out story paper or story, frames. I just freehand it on post-it notes or maybe just one big paper and just freehand, just as it comes. Because sometimes when you're thinking of story, it doesn't all come frame after frame. You might think of one setting and then another setting, and you can cut them all out or scan them in or whatever, take pictures and get them in there. But just any progress is good progress. So I would say don't be so hard on yourself. Just make some progress on a project. You can always go back and improve that drawing, but at least you're a step closer to your goal. And if you don't start, then you can never make a film. So
or
you got to
just
start somewhere.
or just get it done and you'll get them next time. I mean, as we're progressing, doing more of these shorts, we're finding we're getting better and better at them, and each one is improving because we're learning things.
Even now we're like, oh yeah, that other one, I wish we would have done it that way.
But we're learning,
Like,
and
well,
sometimes you just gotta just do, I guess.
yeah, you just keep going.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, I think if I was a kid seeing this, I would probably understand history a lot more because you take history and you're showing it. You're not dumbing it down for the kids. You're not being smarty about it. You're just like, it's a nice thing to watch. I don't know. It's just a fun thing to watch. And
We love the comments from the teachers that say
yeah,
our
We're trying
class
to
loved it. Yeah.
we're trying to be genuine about things, so that we're doing due respect and diligence to all the real lives that we're depicting here. So, but at the same time, like really, I really adore some of the characters, so so we have fun with it.
you have good pun sensitivity. I don't know if that's a word. I mean, you're putting.
Who came up with Spaniel Adams, you or me?
Me.
See, I might say I remembered it. I don't know. I guess my point is that some of them, though, that are really, really hard to come up with, we remember a little bit more who came up with them.
See how that works?
Well, they do say people look like their dogs.
Oh, it's really a nice series to see, and you can see it on Is It?
For the new shorts, they created a Pups of Liberty Short Tales channel.
Yeah,
well.
just go and just search anywhere Pups of Liberty short tales and you'll find them.
But the first 5 we got through, and they have number 5, I believe, is landing on that YouTube channel December 2nd.
Thanks for coming on Animateducated and telling us all about it.
But we really want to thank you for taking the time for us tonight and helping spread the word about Pups of Liberty. Please tell your friends.
What do you say, Anne? Want to give it another try?
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. That was Jennifer and Bert Klein, the creators of Pups of Liberty series that you can find on YouTube. It's on a place called Is It? If you're interested to see more, go take a look at it. It's really interesting and makes history fun to watch, And so if you did enjoy this, you can press that little button right there. See how clever that I am? So I also have other interviews. If you scroll down and you can see more, or you can take a look. I got a couple of these videos right here. Yeah. All right. And I'll see you next time on Animateducated. Bye.